Hello all, welcome to another quick learning. Today we're going to be going over how to create a column chart in Google Sheets. Alright, so we've got our data here. We've got two different dimensions. We got segment and we got category, and then we have the sales, which we want to graph out in the columns. So first thing we're going to have to do if we want to do a stacked or a clustered column chart with both of these dimensions is we're going to have to reformat the data. So first I'm going to pull out the unique values in segment and category. So the way I'm going to do that in Google Sheets is I'm going to use the unique function. So I do unique, and then I select the data here, and when I hit enter it's going to give me these three unique values. I'm just going to move these down. You'll see why when I have it all formatted. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the category. So we're going to do unique. We're going to select all of the values here, and when I hit enter we've got these three values. And now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go edit, paste values, and then I'm also going to put these on the first row here. If you've got a lot of values, you can use paste transpose as well. That will change it from a column to a row when you paste it. Alright. Now I have to do some sum ifs to create the sales numbers in this 3x3 grid here. So now I'm going to do equals sum ifs. So this is going to sum the values by some criteria. So I'm going to do the sum range, and I'm going to do the whole column because my idea here is that you would probably come in here, delete this data, and then push in some new data which may be larger or smaller, might have a different number of rows. So I'm going to select the whole column as the sum range. And I'm going to go comma. The first criteria is I'm going to select all of A. We're going to lock that down by hitting F4. So it'll always use this even when I drag it to the right. And then the criteria here is going to be, it's going to have to equal a consumer, and I'm going to lock the column there so it stays in this column even when I drag right. And then I'm going to do the second criteria. So we're going to select the whole column B and lock that, hitting F4. And then we're going to select furniture, and we're going to lock the row in this case, so when I drag down it stays in this row. And that's the whole calculation, and you can see this number equals this. So I did it correctly. Although you may have, if you have duplicate values of this, let's say I put another consumer and furniture in here, and I put another 100,000, it would add it to that value. So that's what the sum if does. Anything that has the criteria of consumer and furniture, it will sum all those. Alright, so I've got those, and I've got my table set up now. So now all I have to do is chart it. So I'll go ahead and select that. I'm going to go to Insert and put Chart. And by default it's going to choose the column chart, which is just what we want. And it's going to put Consumer, Corporate, and Home Office on the bottom. And then the colors are going to be Furniture, Office Supplies, and Technology clustered together. This is called clustering. And you can change it to stacking by choosing Standard here. And this will stack them on top of each other instead of cluster them. And then if you want to normalize them all to 100% and just see the mix of the different values between the three, you can choose 100% stacking. Right now I'll just go none to show you the clustered view. Some other options, you can switch the columns and rows. So if you do that, you can see the Furniture, Office Supplies, and Technology is now on the x-axis, and the colors correspond to the Consumer, Corporate, and Home Office. Some other things you can do with this chart is customize it. You can put in a different chart style if you want, a different background color, make it 3D, things like that. Put in titles so people know what they're looking at. I can say, 2018 sales or something like that. And I can change the alignment so it's centered on the chart. So the series, we can add data labels so people know what these numbers correspond to. Legend, you can change the legend a little bit. Horizontal axis, you can change the label format, so you can put it in italics or bold or things like that. Also, you can change the axes by changing here. So horizontal axis, so we've got the segments here, so I can put in segment, and then now we have a label there. And then if we select vertical axis, we can put in sales. And now we have that labeled so people know this is sales, this is segment. And then there's a bunch of other things you can change. You can reverse the order. Vertical axis, if you want to turn off the grid lines, there's grid line options here. So you can show none of these. So you see these little gray bars here that correspond to the different options on the y-axis. You put that as none, and then maybe it looks a little cleaner to someone's eyes if you just want to see how these are different from each other instead of seeing what the exact values are. All right, and that's pretty much how you create a column chart in Google Sheets. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you very much.